Last year for Valentine's Day, I looked back on the Muppets Valentine Show, one of the original pilot specials for what would later become the Muppet Show. And I had a lot of fun with that, so this year I decided to look back on another Muppet-related project, heading back to Sesame Street. As I've said before, in the early days of Sesame Street, holiday-themed episodes weren't common, but in the last few years, we've had a few episodes with direct focuses on holidays. But there have been episodes and segments in the old school days that seem fitting for a theme, and this episode from their 10th season is one of them. Olivia, one of the main humans on Sesame Street at the time, is watching Hooper's store while Mr. Hooper is out making deliveries when Bert comes in requesting his traditional glass of flat soda water. Olivia suggests the possibility of adding cherry syrup or ice cream, but Bert insists that Olivia leave it as it is. While Olivia prepares it, she states that she can't think of anyone else who would enjoy that as much as Bert when a young woman comes in asking Olivia for the same thing. Right away, Bert is smitten by this young woman who looks very similar to him named Bertha, performed by occasional Muppet performer Bob Payne. Bob's contributions to the Muppets actually go back a bit. He started out as a performer on Jim Henson's first ever television series Sam and Friends, later working as a designer in the Muppet Workshop. His design of a helmet used by a palace guard in the unaired Muppet pilot Tales of the Tinker-Dee would later be reused as Super Grover's helmet on Sesame Street. He also built and performed characters on The Muppet Show, and on Sesame Street performed the original Telly Monster, alongside other rare or one-off characters. Anyway, back to the episode. Bert nervously approaches Bertha in the arbor, but Bertha seems very happy to see him after returning from bringing her pet to the doctor. Bert starts up a conversation with Bertha about pets, asking her what kind of pet she has, and to make it fun for the kids at home watching, Bertha gives Bert some clues. Clue number 1. She's black and white and gray. Bert's first guess is horse, as Bertha laughs like Bert does over the thought of carrying a horse in such a small case to the doctor. Realizing that, Bert figures that perhaps Bertha's pet is a dog, a cat, or maybe even a raccoon. Black, white, and gray, yeah, raccoon sounds about right. Until Bertha shares her next clue. Her pet sounds like poo, poo. Bert then guesses cat, but then Bertha mentions that her pet eats bread and popcorn and has 2 feet. Bert realizes that it isn't a cat because cats have 4 feet, with Bertha adding that cats don't have feathers. All of this makes Bert realize that Bertha's pet is a pigeon as she introduces Bert to her pet pigeon Francine. Bert asks if Francine is okay, and Bertha answers that Francine never was sick, just lonely. So Bert introduces Francine to one of his pigeons, Gus, and the two instantly get along. With Gus and Francine now getting along, with Bert and Bertha getting to know each other better, Bert sings his own love song. This song, and I think the episode as well, was written by previous Nostalgia Talk guest Emily Kingsley, with the music done by Lee Pockris. Lee was a regular composer for Sesame Street at the time of this episode, but is best known as the writer for the classic songs The Itsy Bitsy Teeny Weeny Yellow Polka Dot Bikini and Perry Como's Catch a Falling Star. Kind of neat how he later wrote for Sesame Street. And in addition to this song, another one of Lee's Sesame Street compositions was Transylvania Love Call, which was kind of similar to this one, but by the Count to the Countess. I will say, though, that this would be a lot less weird if Bertha didn't have a name similar to Bert, or if she didn't look like him. We've actually seen on the show recently Bert's family, including his twin brother Bart, who was previously used in an old-school Sesame Street segment, and recently his cousin Bertina. And they all look alike. After a few segments in this episode without Bert and Bertha, the episode closes with the two sharing a soda, but Bertha tells him that she doesn't like soda pop, and she's only interested in the bottle cap for her collection. Yet another thing that she and Bert have in common. Gordon and Olivia are watching Bert and Bertha get to know each other, not realizing them saying goodbye to the pair as they carry on with the bottle cap talk and the sponsors are announced. Unfortunately, this was the only appearance of Bertha on the show. The only other time she appeared after this was in the finale of The Muppet Movie, among a gaggle of more than 100 other Muppets. The puppet is currently on display at the Center for Puppetry Arts in Georgia. So anyway, that wraps it up for another old school Sesame Street. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you have a happy Valentine's Day and a great weekend, and I'll see you next time.